What up, what up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I did have a good day. I went 4-2 overall. The two losers were Grizzlies team total over and the Spurs and Bulls over 228. Two losers there. The winners, Grizzlies, um, Lakers. I ended up getting there with them +8. What was the other ones here? Magic +8.5. I think that one was. And last but not least, why am I blanking out here? I had one other winner in there, but 4-2 day. So I will take it. Absolutely will take it. And Rob Veno, we missed you yesterday, but it's good to have you here today. How are you doing? And how's NBA been treating you?
Yeah, the NBA has been really good to me, Ski. Now, yesterday you and I were talking off air, and I actually thought I had a worse day than I did. I thought it was 1-3. It was actually 2-2. The good, New Orleans with the bounce back after losing that 24-point lead to Memphis the other night. They beat Cleveland, kind of a depleted Cleveland team at this point in time. The other good was OKC minus the points against the Clippers in back-to-back. Where we went wrong with the Milwaukee Bucks team total over 123.5. They only got to 118 against Orlando, and went wrong in the Indiana-Memphis game. Had that game over the full game total, and they stayed well under. And I think that for myself in particular, I'm going to have to start looking at Memphis a lot differently now that Ja's back in the lineup. I didn't think defense would take hold in that game, but maybe I was wrong in my assessment of Memphis. So, or maybe Indiana as well against that type of team. So we'll see. We'll bounce back today.
Yeah, that Memphis definitely got to look at them different. Ja makes hell of a lot of difference on that squad. And have to cap accordingly. We got one guest so far, Rob. Dark chocolate in the chat. No, not dark chocolate. I will continue to go through and Justin. This one's funny. I was extremely late today, so rightfully so to take a jab at me. The chat. I do want to go through the best bets that I saw there. I tallied 20 and 17. I'm gonna have to find a better way to go about recording these, but hopefully I didn't miss anybody. What I will say is from now on, let's try to do like this. We're only going to do the best bets that are given out during the actual best bet segment. If they're sprinkled in during the show, it's too much to try to go back and tally them up. So if we can put them out during the best bet segment, let's try to go for one, max two, but it's tough. So we can go for one during the best bet segment on the show. I would greatly appreciate it. So a couple of people who had some winners, and you know what? As I say that, I missed another one here. So 21 and 17. Shout out to Daniel. He had a same game parlay winner on Kobe White. He had one assist, one rebound prop, both Kobe White. Let's see here. We had tomorrow two winners with one Memphis, one OKC. Sober Slide also was on Memphis. Dan was on the Thunder. Brian H had the Thunder first half. S. Warrior, Minnesota first quarter, Orlando +8.5. I believe that Minnesota first quarter cashed. Marked it down as a cash, but I don't know. I think it did. Oh, and I can't read my own writing. I think this is Sayan. Yeah, Sayan. He had two winners there. So shout out to him. Rams -4 for Tim. That was a winner. Jim Turner had Sexton under 37.5 PRA. That one was a winner. Let's see. Net. He got to the window with those Lakers +8. Mr. Contrarian had a winner there. Elias with OKC first half. Boofer also with OKC first half. Two more winners there. Jay Gill, Memphis first quarter, Memphis first half. I believe those were two winners. Boofer with OKC first half. And this one, I graded him as two winners, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't bet it yesterday, and it was when I went back and looked at it, I kind of forgot, but I feel like they were up by way more than this. Cougars first half. Ronell and Doug took them. So let me go back and double check here. Did I grade them correctly or did I not? Because I'm pretty sure the Cougars covered that first half. I didn't take it yesterday just because a couple of the ones that I've taken at that 16 point spread range just didn't end very well for me. So By chance, do you know, Rob? I know they covered the full game.
Yeah, and I think it was because of a
Oh,
really
yeah.
second half ski. I don't think they got their first half.
They did not. So I graded them wrong. Good thing I can come back and double check. So the chat was actually 50-50 yesterday. Because I have to
Yeah.
subtract those two Houston Cougars winners. So, damn. I guess I did good staying off of it yesterday. But I hate to see some other
Yeah.
people losing on that one. And shout out to Kevin Johnson. Kentucky team total over 84.5. I did miss him yesterday, so I had to make sure I get his winner on there. So shout out to the people who provided winners. We appreciate everybody always sharing during the show. Um, I want to take a look at a few more comments here, Rob, before we actually get started. We
Sure.
have what 6 NBA games. We can maybe touch on a little bit of NFL for this weekend, and we'll rock how we always do. So let's see. Did anybody get Veno's shirt correct today?
Navy blue, guys. Dark blue, navy blue.
And they say it's time for me to move out. They said they saw some other capper broadcasting from Ski's house the other day. Maybe the house is the Wagertalk house. Might be time for me to move out.
Veno got the worst room in the house. That's not true.
No, I'll give
This room
Vino a
is
good
nice.
room.
Not a good room.
Anthony says Xmas theme shirt for Vino plus 900. That one is not a winner. Nathan says
Blue
ugly
Christmas.
Christmas sweater.
No, I've never owned one. I've never owned one. I won't wear one.
Yeah, they think you're gonna be dressed for Santa. No, nobody's right
Oof.
yet. Tomorrow says he's making sure to start the hot pockets before the show. During the day when my air fryer
You
just
could
kept
have.
beeping.
There's too many. I didn't know I was going to come on and have to help ski grade picks, guys. There's too many picks, too many best bets.
Yeah, I was still. That's why I was late. Honestly, I was grading all of the best bets. I got to start getting to it ahead of time. But look, Kevin Johnson said over under the show is going to start at 12:45.
Yeah, you guys, you're going to have to. You're going to kill his tequila and pineapple time with all these best bets.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start grading at nighttime now. No, I love it though. I'm just talking shit like I always do. Um, trying to see if anybody gets this shirt correct. Going through these comments, everybody. I like that everybody. They have something to do. Everybody just communicating with each other while they're waiting. At least Nathan says Ski gonna have a lot of chat to catch up on. You are right about that, and I'm doing my best. Nobody's gonna get it right. I think here, Rob.
All right.
And there is a comment that I have to get to because I see it up on the top. It's important. I just have to find it in the chat. So you guys have to bear with me and you will understand why it's important when I bring it up on the screen. Hello, Miss Tasha. Oh, yeah. She says, glad I followed the hell no list, Detroit. Yeah, we talked that one out. We went to logic school yesterday, Rob. We're like, yeah, I get it. But is it ever a spot to bet Detroit? Not for my money. Not for my
Yeah.
money.
I'm glad you were on that side too, because I had it a little back and forth, a little pushback on the Wagertalk NBA show yesterday. I was on Utah as my underdog and got a little pushback to the Detroit side. But you know what? Detroit stinks. End of story. And it's so funny that you've just brought that up, Ski, because on the show yesterday, if you go back to the video, to the replay, you'll see Joe telling me, Veno, if Detroit doesn't win this game, they're the first team that's going to go on the hell no list. And you guys, I didn't even know you had the hell no list going, so that's pretty coincidental. But they make it, right? They have to make
Oh,
it
hell
now.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely not been Detroit ever. And here we
Ever.
go. My guy tomorrow. Appreciate you, bro. He with a 49.99 dono. Much love. I appreciate that.
Oh,
He says one
yeah.
big on my best bets. Happy holiday, Ski. Get you some more hot pockets.
There you go, man. There you go.
Hey, nice work tomorrow. You did have two best bet winners yesterday, and I appreciate the dono. maybe I can get a couple more of those hot pockets.
Yeah.
So appreciate you. And this one as well, Ernest, been a member for 8 months. Appreciate you on that. Says, what up, Ski and Rob?
Very nice.
Another day, another dollar. About time to get to it. And Zoned Up says, hit the like button. Absolutely helps out the show if we could do that. And we have a winner. Is this it, Rob? That's it,
Yeah, there you go. Sean, you win.
right? I got it. Maybe I'll send give me a cash app or something. I'll send you like $25, Sean. We'll start doing that. How about that? 25 bucks
Beautiful.
today for the winner and Sean. If you I guess you can send it to me on Twitter or you can comment after the show and I will send it to you, Sean. Maybe we'll start doing that on Fridays. We'll do something like that. I want to try to reward you guys for taking the time to do this.
It'll be like the lottery. It'll roll over if nobody gets it right. Oh man.
All right, let's
Good
get to
stuff.
it.
Yes.
We have 6 NBA games, like we said, and first game up, we're gonna go 5-17, 5-18. Looking at Toronto heading into Philly. Opened up Philly minus 7.5, and we're looking at 8.5. Pretty much everywhere. Total open 228.5, and we're looking at 230.5. Injury report for the Raptors. Koloko remains out. For the Sixers, though, Batum is out. Looks like Melton, Pat Bev, Mo Bamba, all game time decision, truly game time. And then we have Covington, who's more like probable here. So Philly has been damn good lately, Rob. Well, they covered 6 of their last 7 games. They're 10-3 as a home favorite so far this season. Toronto, a little bit of the opposite. They've only covered 2 of their last 8. Toronto on the front end of it back to back. They do play Utah tomorrow. Is this just another situation where, Philly is outclassing their opponent and it's an easy runaway win or not so fast? What do you think about this one, Rob?
Yeah, it's round 3 of Nick Nurse versus Toronto, or Toronto versus Nick Nurse, however you want to put it. First 2 games both went to the 76ers, right? They win by, they got 7. Yeah, we got 114-107. And then we got 114-99. So 114 each time, won them both, covered them both. I found this quote interesting from Precious Achua after the Raptors lost the other night, a game against the Denver Nuggets, where I was fortunate enough to have the other side in that game. But his quote was this: "That's on us as players. We just got to find a way to accomplish that. I don't know what type of motivation you need, but we got to do something to play 48 minutes of intense basketball. I can't give you a logical reason right now. I honestly don't have an answer to the question. It's one of those things you don't really have an answer to." That's a lot of "we don't really have an answers" in one quote. But Toronto's been bad. This month especially bad, 2-6 against the spread. Their defense is falling apart. 8 games this month. 6 times Toronto's allowed 50% shooting or better. All of their losses, they've allowed, or 5 of the 6 losses, they've allowed 50% or better. It's not like they're shooting the basketball poorly or not scoring. They just don't defend the way they used to defend. And I look at Philadelphia, Ski, and it's hard to stop them from scoring right now. Right? I mean, it's hard to bet against Philly. If I was going to bet the side, I would bet that way. I'd almost prefer Philly team total because they're scoring with such ease. Joel Embiid commented on how easy it's been for them to score as of late. I think the total is 118.5. If I'm playing this game, I think that's where I'm going because Toronto's defense, like I say, has been so poor, and Philly's just having such an easy time. And they've been good at home, too. I mean, just to quote the numbers at home for Philadelphia, the point differential in their home games is plus 14, which is huge. And they're scoring almost 124 points a game at home, 123.8 with an 11-4 ATS record. So I think my look would be Philly team total over 118.5. Secondary look would be the Sixers minus the points.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that team total over. That's definitely how they've been playing lately. I don't think I really mind the point spread. I see people in the chat saying you might want to get in and get out, but with Toronto on the front end of a back to back, I mean, I like to think if this game is getting out of hand, they just start to sit their main guys and save their minutes, save their energy for tomorrow. So I think the longer the game goes on, even more of an advantage for Philly. Also, just thinking about it, I'm going to double check here, but Philly has been the team that starts a little bit slow and way better in the second half. So let me refresh. Second half margin. Yeah, Philly is number one, plus 7.7. And then I'm going to flip it to first half. I don't think they're up there. Oh, they're top five. So Philly's been good in general, but they have been better in the second half. I think I would like to include the second half if I play this game. And they do the things that I care about to do well to be able to win by margin. Top 10 shooting the three, top 10 defending the three. Only way to look for me is the Philly side. Um, let's see. Brian says team totals up to 119 and a half. He still played it. So we're all pretty much in agreement here. Let's keep going. Rob, next game up. That will be 519, 520. We're looking at the Nuggets heading into Brooklyn and face the Nets. Opened up Nuggets -4. They're a 4.5 point favorite right now. Total open 230.5. Not much movement. Looks like 230 right now. Aaron Gordon, game time decision for these Nuggets, but likely to play. Ben Simmons and Lonnie Walker out for the Nets. These Nets have only covered one of their last 6 games. They are on the front end of the back-to-back versus Detroit. Denver also on the front end of the back-to-back. They play Charlotte tomorrow, but they've started to play better. A little bit opposite of Brooklyn. They've covered 5 of their last 6 games. And I have them listed as 5-9 as a real favorite, but since they've gotten healthy, I mean, they've covered their last 2 games as a real favorite. And when I see these small point spread ranges like -4, 4.5 even, pretty much just asking this Nuggets team to win. So they've been top 10 in all the categories that I care about last 5 games. I think the Nuggets can win this game by margin. Would you agree, Rob?
Yeah, I'm with you, Ski. I mean, they started this road trip the other night in Toronto, and it was a 3-game road trip featuring Toronto, Brooklyn, and then, like you mentioned, Charlotte. And when I looked at it, I thought, this is a chance for them to go 3-0. I don't think they expected that the T-Wolves would be off to the 21-6 start that they are, but Denver's chasing in that division. I don't know that it matters terribly to Denver exactly where they land in the playoffs or in the playoff seedings, but I do think it matters to have home floor to be in the top 4 of the Western Conference. So when you can make up ground with a road trip like this where all 3 games are winnable, Denver's a veteran-laden team now. I think they understand. They came out, they took care of business from the get-go against Toronto the other night. They just beat this Brooklyn team in Denver by 23 last week. I think you and I had a show where this game was part of our show. And the biggest factor here is Jokic. The Nets are so little. They're just too little to defend that guy. I think he had a big night that night. I think he'll probably have a big night here. I think what's most interesting about Denver at this point in time, Ski, with all the offense that we see in the NBA right now and the point scoring, Denver this month has played 9 games, and 8 of their opponents didn't get to 50% from the field. 50% from the field is like a number that it used to be a little difficult to get to. Now teams get to that on a nightly basis, but Denver's defense has really picked up, and in 4 of their last 5, the opponent has only scored 106 or less. That's not a lot of points in the NBA nowadays, and Brooklyn was one of those teams, only scored 101 against Denver last week in Denver. So I would totally look at Denver. I think defensively they're playing real well. They're healthy, as you mentioned, and I just don't see Brooklyn in the tailspin that they're in right now coming out of it here tonight.
All right, so we're in agreement. We both looking more towards the Nugget side. Saturated says Jokic has 4 triple doubles in a row versus the Nets. Looking for some crunchy Claxton treats, he said. I could absolutely see him having success tonight. So maybe you look towards him, but I don't like these games. Everybody's on the front end of a back to back for props. Like too much. It can go either way in that kind of a situation. I feel like front end of a back to back. So it makes me a little bit nervous. I prefer to just play the Denver side, and sounds like Mr. Robino does too, or he agrees. So we'll keep going here. Next game up will be 521, 522. Dallas heading into Houston to take on the Rockets. Opened up Rockets minus 2.5. They are an 8.5 point favorite right now. Total open 232.5, and it's down about 9 points to 223. For the Mavericks, who's not on the injury report. Um, Seth Curry is game time decision. Luca out, Exum out, Josh Green out, Kyrie out, Maxi Kleba out, Lively out. For the Rockets, Eason and Bullock, both game time decision. Bullock more like doubtful, Oladipo out. So both of these teams do play tomorrow. Rockets play the Pelicans. Mavs play the Spurs. Rockets, they've been pretty good in general. I think they failed to cover 5 out of their last 20 games. They're 4-1-1 as a home favorite, 4-2-1 versus competition, that being greater than 55% win teams. The Mavericks play tomorrow versus Spurs. They are 1-4 as a road dog and missing damn near the whole roster, it seems like, when I look at this injury report. So what it boils down is, will Houston care about this game enough, win by this big of a margin? And are they good enough to trust them to win by this big of a margin? I don't view Houston as that kind of a team to be expecting to win by double digits versus, really anybody. They do play good defense. They're number one defending the three, but they're not the greatest team shooting it. And I think you got to be able to shoot the three well to create separation. So I couldn't get there with Houston. I think I would lean towards the Mavericks just for that reason. And as far as the total is concerned, don't really trust the Mavericks to play too much defense, but neither team here playing with pace. If the Rockets were to win, in my opinion, would be more with the defense. So I guess lean under, lean Mavericks here. Do you feel the same as me, Mr. Veno?
It's a tough game because I would like to be on Houston. But as you mentioned, it's a lot of points. However, when I came back to the point ski at home this year, they're 11-2 against the spread, and their winning margin at home, or point differential margin, is plus 11.2, which is more than the 8.5 they're asked to lay here against a depleted roster. And I went back, the last 6 home wins by the Rockets, 5 of those have been by 9 or more. And they're not all against horrendous teams. And Dallas is kind of like Luka in the second string here tonight. So I'm not so sure that I could look away from Houston that easily, especially coming off the loss to Atlanta the other night. Atlanta beats them at home. I think it ended a home court winning streak that Houston had going, but still 11-2 at home, winning games by 11 plus per game. It would have to be the way I'd look. The fear, of course, is that Luka does enough to cover that number. They lost a tough game against the Clippers the other night. Dallas did. They were in it, and then kind of fourth quarter faded away. There's not enough help for me to play Dallas right now. I think of the possibilities for me, which would be side and total, because I won't get involved in props. I think I'd prefer under 224.5. I think Udoka, certainly, we've talked about it a lot. He's brought a defensive mentality to this team. For the Houston Rockets, they lost, I believe, the first time around to Dallas. Lost by 6, as a matter of fact, 121-115 when Dallas was healthy. That lands 236. It seems to me that there's more than 12 points missing from this Dallas roster tonight. So that would get us under the 224.5. I think that's the way I would look. Didn't bet it, but I'd rather be on that end of the coin than the side. I think total under is probably the way to go.
I don't know if you said it. You might have said something. Did you say something about Luka? Because they're all putting Luka as out.
Even worse, right? I mean,
yeah.
But I guess maybe Ski with that, you may look Dallas team total under. I'm trying to pull it up now as I speak.
108 is what I see. And Vaughn says the
Yeah,
Rockets only allowed over 108
right.
twice at home.
That might be better than full game total because Dallas defensively is going to be horrendous without Derek Lively. We talked about that on Wager Talk Show the other day. Lively's been great as far as interior defense is concerned. Not involved here. No Luka for points. No Kyrie for points. I mean, it's a tough haul for Dallas to get over 108 tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
So when stars are out, a lot of times teams don't take the other team doesn't take the game as serious. But good point in the chat. They said that, and here it goes, Robert Franklin. He says Houston lost their last three. Udoka will have these cats focused regardless who's on the floor for the Mavericks. And that I think is a solid point. I think we can trust for him to have his team ready to come and play some defense tonight. So if I was going to play this one, we're talking it out. Dallas team total under, I could get with that, the 108. I'll write that down on my short list for today. Anything else for you on this game before we move on?
No, I totally agree with that point that was made in the chat because that kind of separates. And again, we hate to paint with a broad brush, right? You have to always dig in and look for the situation. It's the Rockets, right? They're trying to create a different atmosphere with that team, and I think that atmosphere is to win games. When these higher price teams ski like a Milwaukee or a Boston, if they were in this situation against a depleted roster, we'd probably lean the other way, not taking it as serious. But this team, I think, will take it serious. So I'm with you. I think under 108.5 on the Dallas side, probably the way to go.
All right, sounds good. Definitely sounds good. Let's keep it going. Next game up. We're making good time today. We're moving right along. After the intro, at least. Next game up, 523, 524. Atlanta Hawks heading into Miami to take on the Heat. Opened up Heat minus 1.5. Still looking at 1.5 out there. Total opened up 237.5. Consensus of 238.5. Jimmy Butler out for these Miami Heat. For the Hawks, Jalen Johnson and AJ Griffin out once again. And these Hawks, they've covered what? They've covered 2 games now since Jalen Johnson has been out. It's not 0 or 1 anymore. 2 out of their last 12 games, Hawks have covered. They are 1-7 versus greater than 55% win teams against the spread. 4-7 as a road dog so far this season. Looking at the Heat, they haven't been doing too much covering either lately. 2-5 ATS their last 7, 3-7 as a home favorite, 4-7-1 versus lesser competition teams. So either team really good trends or for this game. And you do have a Heat team now without Jimmy Butler. When I look at them, I usually want absolutely zero to do when he's not on the court. But they at least are healthy outside of that. They've gotten Hero back, they've gotten Bam back. Everybody else is in there. In this Hawks team, for one, they've been really bad in general lately. They've been really bad on the road for the past few years. And I just don't see a whole lot of reasons to go and back them here tonight. What I will say is I do believe they have the best player on the court in this game. And if I do look at the last 5 game stats, it says they've been the better offense and they've been a better rebounding team. If they can do those, they're more than capable of winning the game. But they haven't shown me that they can do that on the road so far this season. They did get me the last game on the road, but I lean a little bit towards Miami here. And if I had to play the total in Hawks games, they play up tempo. They don't play any defense. I know Miami plays a little bit slower, but without Jimmy Butler out there, I don't think we'll see too much, I think we'll see more moving the ball and a lot more 3-pointers taken. So both teams bottom 10 defending the 3 so far this season, both top 10 shooting it. I'll lean towards the over. Hawks have went over 6 of their last 7 games. Heat have went over 5 of their last 6 games. But I do have to mention 10 of the last 12 meetings have went under. So do you think this one will be a little bit more like how these teams match up? I wouldn't say historically, but it's only last 12. Or do you think it'll be more like what we've seen from these teams lately, Rob?
Well, they scared me off. They scared me off, Ski, because you've been around me long enough to know that where Miami's concerned the last 3 years, I really like to play their totals over because I just think they're undervalued by the odds makers. Tonight, I looked at that number. I wanted to play this game over. I saw 237.5, and that's product of the Hawks, right? It's got nothing to do with Miami. Product of the Hawks. Odds makers have to set it there. Kind of scared me off the total, even though it hasn't scared money off because it's now up to 238.5. So I tried to look at creative ways to play this game and still get to an over. The best way I can come up with is Hawks team total over 118.5. For the Hawks, I'll just throw some numbers out here real quick. 8-2, their last 10 scoring over 118.5. If you push it back even further, they're 11-4 in their last 15 scoring over 118.5. If you just isolate it to road games, the last 9 Hawks road games, they've scored over 118.5 7 out of 9 times. All those numbers right there are 78% or better to get over this type of number. And so I think if I had to play the game, I would play it that way. Hawks team total over 118.5. I haven't done it yet, but I really wanted to get to the Heat, who are on a 4-0 over string right now. I wanted to get to that full game total. Just got a little bit too high for me. I thought maybe it would come in the 230.5 range. It came out 237.5. So I think I might look just towards Atlanta. They scored 134 the other night. And without Jimmy on the floor, Miami's a little bit lesser of a defensive team. So pace be darned. I think I'll take Hawks over 118.5.
I don't know that I'd want to eliminate the Heat from that wager. I do think, more I'm thinking about it, the Hawks can definitely win. They have the better talent as far as like star power. But if the Hawks do win, I get why you like the team. I mean, I get it. What I'll say is the Hawks aren't going to win by playing defense. That's just how I'm thinking, how I feel.
Right.
They're going to win by outscoring Miami. And I just think Miami can score too. So they played a really good game versus Orlando the other day. We'll see how they look today. I guess I'll lean a little bit more towards the over than a side in this game. Good stuff for both of us. And I did add that over to my short list. Let's move on over to another game. And the more I think about it, I might even switch up and go Hawks. But next game up, I have time to think about it. 525, 526. Phoenix and Sacramento opened up Kings minus 2.5. They are a 3.5 point favorite now. Total opened up 245. It dropped down to 242.5. We're seeing it climb back up. Consensus of 243.5, even some 244s now. Injury report for Phoenix. Okogie is game time decision. They'll be without Bill, Damian Lee, and Nurkic. Nurkic out. I feel like that was. I don't know, he must have been out since last night. I just overlooked it. Sacramento, McGee and Monk game time decision. Alex Len will be out. This is a Phoenix team who is 3-2 so far as a road dog. They are 2-6 against the spread versus greater than 55% win teams. They have only covered one of their last 10 games. So they've been extremely poor against the number. Kings, I don't know what this number I have written here. Maybe that was a mistake. I think that one was a mistake. Kings have went over 11 out of 14 home games, over 9 of their last 10 at home, and over 9 of their last 12 in general. Whereas the Suns have went under 5 of their last 7. So a little bit of opposite as far as total is concerned. But when I think about both of these teams, I mean, the Kings, I think of them a little bit more like the Hawks. They're going to play up tempo. They're not going to play a whole lot of defense. And this Suns team, I trust them more to put up points at the house. But I think their offense is more than capable of scoring against this Kings defense. And I think the Kings can return serve. So it was a lean for me towards the over and didn't feel too strong about a side. I would lean towards Phoenix. They've been a better defense, better rebounding team lately. They can do both of those things. They can keep it respectable, if not win. So lean Phoenix or over. How do you feel about this one, Mr. Veno?
Again, I'm with you on over, but I isolated it to Sacramento team total over 123.5. They left me hanging the other night. Ski, we were texting back and forth a little bit. I told you I had Sacramento over 119.5 the other night. They got to 119, courtesy of Davion Mitchell stepping up to the free throw line with about 3:50 left and blowing 2 free throws. But in garbage time, they just didn't score enough to get over the 119.5. However, I had this situation with Sacramento last week. They were in somewhat of an offensive bounce back situation. In other words, they performed below expectations the game before. Last week, the situation was they scored 99 against the Clippers, played a horrible offensive game. And the next game was against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who by all metrics are a good defensive team. But I played Sacramento team total over regardless, and they got way over in that game. They scored 123 in that contest. I like what you said because it's the way I feel that Sacramento's they're going to do what they do, right? They're going to run. They're going to play high octane. They're going to score their points. Can Phoenix go with them? Probably, maybe. I just don't know that Phoenix is good enough to contain Sacramento's offense. And the difference between Sacramento totals, whether it be their own team total or full game totals, the difference between those at home and those on the road are significant. Sacramento at home averages 123.5. On the road, they only average 112. That's 11.5 points more at home. And the full game totals at home are 245.2. And on the road, they're only 226. That's 19 points better at home for full game total. So I like both of those. It just shows me that when they're at home, they dictate pace. Again, I don't think Phoenix is really good enough defensively. And without Nurkic, I really don't know if they're good enough defensively. So I'm going to take Sacramento. In fact, I bet this one, Sacramento over 123.5. I think that's a good way to go. I wouldn't argue anybody off of the 244. I'm just so unimpressed with what Phoenix has been able to do offensively so far this year. They don't seem to me like they have any rhythm. However, to your point, the Kings lack defense so badly, no matter what Mike Brown says. I don't think they're ever going to get to where he wants them to be defensively. I'd rather just isolate the Kings, play their team total over 123.5.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Brown has been preaching that since last season, right? We haven't seen any different. So I don't know that we can expect any different anytime soon. I'm thinking about stuff before I move on here, Rob. I'm thinking that some dogs are live here with everybody, or a lot of teams playing tomorrow. This game we just talked about, Sac does play tomorrow. Phoenix does not. I know that Atlanta game, neither one of them play tomorrow, but the more I think about it, I think Atlanta is live too. I think a lot of dogs are live here today. A lot of love for the dogs. Would you agree if you have to say more dogs than favorites cover, or the other way around today?
Well, I would say just on the game we just talked about, because you forced me to look at that now. And I would think that if I'm Sacramento, and this is just where I come from handicapping, the look ahead is Minnesota. And the chances of beating Minnesota, if you're Sacramento, I mean, they're far less than beating Phoenix tonight. So if you're going to get one, I think if you're Sacramento, you're going after this one for sure. And if you get the second one, it's a bonus. I don't think you'll see any lackadaisical effort out of the Kings tonight, especially off of that 25-point loss to Boston's reserves the other night, right? They lose 144 to 119 to a Boston team that rested almost everybody. So it kind of makes me like the Sacramento team total here even more, knowing that Minnesota is the opponent tomorrow night. I think Sacramento will definitely go after this one. And I always like Friday night home teams. The rest of the dogs, I'd be afraid of Dallas. I think I mentioned why, even though that number is so big, Houston's been able to cover big numbers. The Hawks just won at home, on the road the other night. So maybe they can do it again. Brooklyn as a dog, I don't want to be there. Toronto as a dog, I'm not sure I want to be there just because I think that Nick Nurse Toronto thing holds some weight where Philly's players are concerned. They want to do it for their head coach. So I could see the Phoenix maybe. I could see the Atlanta maybe. The other three, I don't think I'd want. Wow, Houston just shot up to 9 while I was talking in one spot. 50-50 ski with me with dogs.
Okay. And I did remember it the first time they played, but I overlooked it this time. Nick Nurse versus his old team over there. So that's a good call out by you. Let's move over to the last game on the slate for NBA. That will be 5:27, 5:28. Washington Wizards heading into Golden State to take on the Warriors. This game opened up Warriors minus 12. Not much movement at all. Total open 248. Down as low as 246 and a half. As far as the injury report, odds is game time. I think it was something with his back or something like that. Draymond and Gary Payton II out. For the Wizards, Talon Wright, Landry Shamet, Johnny Davis, all game time decision here. This is a Wizards team on the second of a back-to-back. They did get the win versus the Blazers yesterday. This Wizards team has covered 4 of the last 5 games, so they're playing a little bit. They're playing good right now. They're 11-6 as a road dog. They are 2-1 without rest so far this season. Also 2-1 to the under without rest. This Golden State team, they are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play Portland tomorrow, and they are coming off of an overtime game. They are 2-8 so far as a home favorite. They're 8-5 to the over at home, and they have gone over 5 of their last 6 games. 8 of the last 10 meetings between these teams has gone over. When I think about first of all, when I think about the Wizards, I like to think of them as another team that plays up tempo and doesn't play a whole lot of defense. The Warriors, I feel like they alternate. Sometimes they want to play fast, sometimes they don't. So maybe I'll leave the total to you to see how you feel about it here, Rob. As far as the side is concerned, it is Jordan Poole going back to play his old team too. So Jordan Poole props definitely could be worth a look. I know he hasn't been the greatest this season, but you're very likely to get his best game today. And usually when players go back to play their old team, their team wants to try to make sure they have a good game and does their best to win the game for them. This is going to be one of the few times Wizards are on national TV. I think the Wizards are going to come to play today. Warriors, they want to win this game, but do they care if they win by 12? I don't know. Lean a little bit more towards the Wizards here, Rob. What do you think?
I think this game would have been way more interesting if Draymond was checking Jordan Poole. That would have been pretty good. You don't have to
worry about getting punched out tonight. He's going to be stress-free tonight.
So from that perspective, because the Jordan Poole thing, when I saw it this morning, I'm thinking to myself, should I be playing Jordan Poole props, or will the Warriors want to clamp down on him and make sure he doesn't go crazy? But I don't know that anybody on that team other than Draymond would be that intense about shutting down Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's going to get his shots up. I'm kind of with where you were going with this. I would kind of be with the Wizards. I think 12 is a lot of points, so chalk that up to our dog list, even though they are on back-to-backs. But I feel like the Warriors will probably just go with the Wizards pace-wise. Jordan Poole is going to try and get his, but I think that being said, I'm not in these guys' heads, but you try and think these things out or talk. I would think that Steph and Clay would not want to have Jordan Poole showing them up on their home floor tonight. So I would think big games out of them as well, which leads me to over. Washington in the second of back-to-back, a poor defensive team, generally second of back-to-back. The first thing to go is your defense. You just don't use as much effort or intensity. So I looked at over. I know Golden State hasn't been much of an over team so far this year, and we've spent a little bit of time talking about Steve Kerr, trying to find answers, looking at rotations, and he just doesn't really have his full complement of players at this point in time to solve anything. So to me, this just gets into a high-scoring battle. Is 247 too high? becomes the question. Golden State's last game against Boston was 258. Boston shoots it a little better than Washington, but still Washington's going to give us the pace. I may look, let me just, before I stop here, Ski, let me just look at the Golden State team total real quick. Current, they're asking them to get to 130. It's not like 130 is an issue against Washington, but it seems high to me. And I think Washington, I would probably definitely lean Wizards plus. If you're a prop player, besides looking at Poole, I would look at Steph and Clay. I honestly don't think they want to see Poole with 32 tonight and them with only 18 or 20. And I think I would look at over the total. I know it's come down a little bit, and I know Golden State hasn't been an incredibly good offensive team this season, but that number in Washington games just looks a little bit low, especially second of back-to-back. So over 247, potential with the Wizards plus 12. Like you say, on national TV is a big deal for the Wizards, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Big deal, national TV, big deal for Jordan Poole. Big game for that Wizards side. We'll see how it shakes out. We did a great job breaking down the NBA. I want to ask you real quick, Rob. There's one game that I want to ask about in the NFL.
You're done with football.
Yeah, I know. People keep trying to reel me back in, and God, now they got me thinking about this game this week. We are getting closer to the playoffs, though, so I got to get back into the football.
Okay.
So the game that I wanted to ask about. Let me get it up on my eye screen here. Apologize. Get up on my eye screen. So, where is it? 471, 472. Dallas and Miami opened up as a pick'em. Miami is about 1.5 or 1 point favorite, depending where you shot. Total open 52, down as low as 49.5. So my thought process is pretty simple. And I haven't been the biggest on football lately. That's why I want to ask you here. How I feel about this game is, number one, the Dolphins do not win versus good teams. They beat up on the poor. Whenever they play anybody who's competition, they either lose or don't cover, or however you want to look at it. Dallas, I want to say they're a good team. And I think I trust Dallas defense here. So I want to either bet on Dallas. Like, I'm really trying to get to the window with Dallas, just thinking of like how I think to play against or for Miami. And then for Tua, under his passing yards, 265 is what I have here. Let's see. So 2023, QBs went under in 12 out of 14 games versus Dallas. All 7 QBs that they faced on the road went under. And despite the the Cowboys' injuries, they still got Micah Parsons. They still got Gilmore. I think they still have some good defensive players. So I was thinking about either Tua under 265.5 passing yards or the Cowboys plus 1. Could you get me to the window with either one of those, or would you be talking me off?
If I was to push you in one of the directions you're already going, I would say probably, to me, the best would be Dallas plus 1. Dallas comes off an embarrassment last week at Buffalo, right? I mean, everybody was talking up Dallas. They go to Buffalo. They got run on incredibly last week by James Cook and that Buffalo offensive line. So, a lot of the times the way I think, Ski, is I try to think like a head coach. And for me, I've always had a saying, but head coaches try to fix what's broke. And to me, this week, what Mike McCarthy's trying to fix defensively is his run defense. Kind of exposed a little bit by the Buffalo game plan. The Buffalo game plan last week was, you know what, Micah Parsons, we're not going to run away from you. We're just going to send blockers at you. And let's see if you want to take on blocks. And they happen to be very, very light on the outside. They have a linebacker at 205 pounds who they just ran over. And so if they focus on that, Miami can run the ball real well. Raheem Mostert, what's he got, 20 touchdowns or something already this year? It's been crazy. So they run it well, they throw it well. But if Dallas focuses on being a little bit better run defense, then maybe Tua does throw for over 265. Tyreek Hill was back to practice yesterday. This game came down total-wise, which pleased me. It was 52, came down to 50, which leaves 51, a key number, wide open. And my line of thinking is simple. I think Dallas got embarrassed offensively last week. They only scored 10 points, 1 touchdown, and it didn't come until late in the game. I think they'll bounce back here. Buffalo, in desperation mode, which they were at home last week, is a lot different than, as you pointed out, Miami, which is a bully, right? They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They lose. And Dallas could actually be said to be the same thing for the most part. Both of the offenses, to me, are the best units on the field, bar none. When Miami lost Jalen Phillips, their edge rusher, I think it did a lot of damage to that defense. I could see the offenses going crazy here. To me, 50.5 or 50 was it came down low enough for me to play, so I did. But the two that you're looking to choose from, I would probably side with Dallas +1. I think having an angry Dallas team, a pissed off Dallas team in this spot is a pretty good situation to be in. I checked weather. Weather's going to be good in Miami, so we don't have to worry about any rain or anything there. From your angle, I would look Dallas +1. From my angle, I already bet over 50.
All right, good stuff there. And that's the only game that even piqued my interest this week. I mean, I watched Baltimore and San Fran, but really care to bet it. Was there anything else you wanted to mention before we try to get out of here, Rob?
Yeah, let's go ahead and promo real quick, wagertalk.com. For those of you who are members, fantastic. You know the free benefits that you get there, videos every single day, analysis on all games, all sports. If you're not a member, just drop your email address and you'll get all access to all the videos that are created there at Wager Talk on a daily basis, absolutely free. I happen to be part of the college football video in about 20 minutes. The college football show will be going over some bowl game action. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and flip over to Wager Talk TV after we're done here. As far as stuff I'd like to promo, college football bowl selections are up, and I've got a couple of best bets available, including tonight on the bowl game. That's tonight. So if you're interested in selection packages, you can find mine, wagertalk.com. You can also find a free play write-up on tomorrow's Buffalo LA Charger game over at wagertalk.com. As for best bets here for the show, Ski, I'm going to go back to what we talked about a couple of seconds ago. I like Sacramento's team total over 123.5. I just don't think Phoenix is going to be able to stop them from getting there. They averaged that at home. They're off the disappointing game the other night. And Phoenix without Nurkic is a little bit light in the inside. So Sacramento does like to penetrate. They do like to get out and run. I'm going to try Sacramento over 123.5 team total against the Suns.
All right, good stuff there, Rob. And if you guys know what to do in this segment, drop your best bets in the chat. Chat does a great job with that every single day. And promo for myself, I don't have very many, 4% or whatever wagers, but I do have one today. I've cashed 44 of my last 54, 4% or higher in the association. So if you would like to be involved with that, it's up and available at wagertalk.com. And both Rob and myself, link to our profile is in the description for the video. So Chillwell says, Ski, I thought you were on Wager Talk. Also, I am. You don't see the video, you don't see the shirt right here. You can go click the profile. I'm on there too. But my best bet for the show, I'm between a few. But what I feel most confident in right now, and what we're getting the best number on right now, I have to go with, and best number I can get right now is 238. I have to go with Atlanta and Miami up and over the 238. Like I said, two really good three-point shooting teams. Neither team good defending the three. We know Atlanta plays up tempo, does not play a whole lot of defense. And the guys on the court for Miami, without Jimmy Butler out there, I just see them nothing but the three-point shots all night long. So if they can knock down a good amount, I think we get up and over the 238. So that's my best bet. Rob gave you his best bet. There are some coming in the chat. I'll shout out a couple before we get out of here, and I will record, the rest and come back and see how we did after. But Avery earlier did like the Hawks. Joe also likes the Hawks here. JT likes the Wizards plus 12 as his best bet. Jim Turner going with Clay over 20.5. Says he's going to be Clay tonight, not Clank. Dante says Nets team total under in the first half. Justin likes UAB plus 3.5. All right, Boofer's cutting up right here with this or that. Nah, Boofer, you know that's not how the best bet works. Brian with 76ers first half. I think that's Christian also liking that same bet. Delbert Ray's liking Denver and the Wizards. Dan with Philly first half. So Philly first half, a popular bet today. YBB, what up, bro? Hope all is going well. He likes the Warriors Wizards game over 247. Antonio specifically likes the Wizards to score some points tonight. Sean Evans, Sabonis over 12.5 rebounds. And let's see if we can finish up here. Dallas Houston under 226 from Chiete Catorce. Lit picks with Jokic over 9.5 assists. Bitsy, he loves those first quarter bets. Sabonis, first quarter over 3.5 rebounds. So a lot of nice stuff coming in the chat. My guy Saturated, cutting up, but he's sharing his bets with you. He gave you 3. Illinois, Embiid over PRA, and then Jokic triple-double. So appreciate all you guys in the chat. Like I always say, shows absolutely nothing without you guys. Happy holidays to everybody. Hope you all have, a very wonderful Merry Christmas. And I guess I'm not sure if I'll be doing a show on Christmas, but we shall see. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification. So make sure you hit the subscribe bell. And best of luck if you tell. Good luck on all your action. I will catch you guys next week. Peace.